I got my first ever CGC submission back, and I learned 3 valuable lessons. Stay tuned.
Comically correct comics.
What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to Comically Correct Comics. I'm Brian. Thank you for tuning in. If you're new, please hit that subscribe button if you don't mind. On this channel, we do all kinds of stuff. We're going to be doing a lot more CGC unboxings and some valuable information about submitting to CGC and everything around that process. Another major thing that we do on this channel is comic book investment and speculation. And that's really what my channel is all about, is how to let this hobby pay for itself. So if you're into that kind of thing, please hit that subscribe button. And without further ado, let's jump right into this unboxing. First off, the first lesson learned is, as you can tell, there's 2 boxes there that came back from CGC. And that was the first lesson that I learned in this process, is only submit books in batches of 25 when you're doing a large submission like this one. So the way it works is you can submit as many books as you want to CGC at any time. You can submit 1,000 books if you want, or you can submit 1 book if you want. But if you submit 1,000 books, they're going to break it down into submissions of 25. So they'll never do more than 25 books in a box. Whether they send those books back to you raw or slabbed, there's only 25 going in that box. And so what happened here is I accidentally sent 26 books. Like, an additional book was slipped in there that I didn't put on my submission form. And they sent me an email and said, you had an extra book in here. What do you want us to do? Do you want us to slab it, or do you want us to send it back to you raw? And I said, go ahead and slab it. And I didn't realize at the time is that they're going to put it in a different box and send it separately, which totally screws you on shipping. And when you're dealing with modern books, that can really throw off your margins if the shipping cost really starts to eat you up. So that's the first lesson. Only submit in batches of 25 for large submissions. And on that note, for shipping, I calculated out the shipping cost. I'm in California, CGC's in Florida, so that's the highest shipping cost. And for me, the shipping both way on books is about $5. So if I have a 25 book submission, shipping both ways on each book is about $5. So for 25 times 5, that's $75 in shipping that I paid both ways, for CGC to ship the box to me and for me to ship the 25 books to them. So that came in handy when calculating how much is this actually costing me to have these books slabbed. You know, shipping is a big part of it. So if it's $5 for each book total, that's not too bad. But if you get 1 book in a box like this one here, it's like $25 shipping for that 1 box. So my shipping cost has just went times 5. So anyways, that's the first lesson. So without further ado, let's jump right in and I'll open this box.
Probably fast forward this part. And my voice probably sounds really weird right now because I'm sped up. Does my voice sound weird? Is that weird? Does that sound weird?
All right, so our first book here is Grit, number 1. So, Grit number 1, 9.8, white pages. So this is actually a really cool story. It's from Scout Comics, and I just really like this story, and I'm thinking maybe it might go somewhere, so that's why I had slabbed. And so that's another thing about this submission. It was a pre-screen. And so for those of you that don't know what a pre-screen is when you submit at least 25 books in one tier to CGC, you can have them pre-screen it for a certain desired grade. So in this case, I pre-screened all of these for 9.8. And so what that means is anything less than 9.8, they won't slab, and they just send it back to you and charge you a $5 rejection fee. So everything that comes out of this box in a slab is going to be a 9.8. And the other thing that's very interesting about this submission is this is my first ever CGC submission, and so I did it months ago. It was really when I first started kicking up my business and started to, have a whole different approach to collecting and flipping and turning this hobby into an actual business of mine. And so what I did was I submitted these books just blindly, and that was the stupidest thing. Basically, I looked at them through the bag. I got these books brand new. I never even took them out of the plastic. I just looked at them through, looked to see if I could see any spine ticks or anything on the front cover, and if it didn't, I put it in and I submitted it. So looking back, what I should have done is really evaluated, took the books out of the bag, looked for spine ticks, looked for defects of any kind, and then decided to either press and clean or just submit with a pre-screen. So what's really interesting though is this box is super big and it's super heavy. So there's 25 books in there and it's super heavy, and I just blindly submitted them with a pre-screen. So we'll see what kind of results I got. So let's get down to the big box.
I'll probably fast forward this part too. Is my voice on? Holy crap, you guys, there's a lot of slabs in here.
Holy shit. Okay, check this out. These are my raw books that came back. I'm totally shocked. I thought for sure I was going to have a fat stack of raw books here because I didn't get any of these pressed or cleaned. And I didn't even look at them to see if they were good candidates except through the bag on the front. So the fact that my raw book's coming back, and I'm going to do this a little different. I'm going to open the raw books first to see what we're working with. There's 2 books that came back raw. 2 out of 25. That is shocking. So both of them are Venom 25, the Chichetto variant. It's got to be, there's just a little bit of a corner bend down in the corner there by the barcode. So that's got to be the reason for this. I should have seen that through the front, but there's nothing else on the back. These are probably more like 9.6s, and I would say that is not a pressable defect. This book just probably shouldn't have been submitted, even on a pre-screen. But 2 out of 25 came back, not even pressed. That's shocking. All right, so here we go. Let's see what the rest of these books are. Oh yeah, now I'm remembering. So, Free Comic Book Day 2020, Spider-Man and Venom. This is the intended first appearance of Virus. And it says here on the label, it says first full appearance of Virus distributed after Venom 26 due to COVID-19 pandemic shipping delay. So it's the first full appearance of Virus. So it says it's the first full appearance of Virus. I've seen other labels where it said intended first appearance of Virus. So it's interesting. They changed it up now to say first appearance of Virus. So this, and we'll get to this in the end, but this is the other learning lesson about this, is that I submitted a bunch of these here in this box. And when I submitted these, this was super hot, right? Virus was super hot. The character was super hot. It seemed like he had a lot of potential. And since then, he has just completely crashed as a character because of the story arc. More of his story came out, and interest in the character just has totally flopped. So spoiler alert, if you haven't read anything, I'm going to give away a couple spoilers. So Virus turns out to be Scorpion, a different character. So it's not really, it's the first appearance of Virus, but it's not really the first appearance of that character. It's the Scorpion. And so just kind of all of the wind under his wings was just kind of pushed out. It just all the hype around Virus has kind of flopped. So that's the second learning lesson, besides submitting in bunches of 25, is don't submit too early. Don't submit when a book is still like in its infancy and a character in his infancy, and you don't know where the character is going to go or the story arc is going to go. It's just, there's too much of a risk there. And so that's the big learning lesson on this, was I probably shouldn't have submitted a bunch of these. I still think this is a cool book. It's still a first appearance, and it's the first cover appearance of COVID-19. And I think that's significant. I mean, that this is historically a significant book, that it affected the first appearance and because of a pandemic. And I don't think that's ever happened before. So I think historically this is a significant book. And, I can still get, like $40. I think they're selling for like $40 on eBay. So I won't lose money on these, but it definitely wasn't worth all the time and energy of shipping these back and forth. So there's going to be a whole bunch of these in here, and I will probably just fast forward this part. 13 copies of Free Comic Book Day, #1, Spider-Man and Venom, all 9.8s, obviously. And so, anyways, if you guys want a copy of this, let me know. I'll probably be selling it for like $40 or something. So if you want a copy of this for $40, hit me up on Instagram, DM me over there, and just pay the shipping, and you can have one of these. I still think it's a cool book. It's definitely a cool cover. So maybe someday it'll bounce back too. Maybe something will happen again with the story arc of Virus, and it could be a decent key book in the future. I don't know. All right, so next up we have Snake Eyes Dead Game, #1 in 9.8. Sorry about the glare. Snake Eyes Dead Game, #1. This is the cover B, I believe. No, this is the cover A. Rob Liefeld story, cover, and art. I think it's a sick cover, and there's some movement right now with this character. So that might be a good book. Got 2 copies of that. All right, next up, Batman 95. Just a super sick cover. This is the beginning of the Joker War story arc, and this is one of my favorite Joker covers ever. And I'll probably do this as a giveaway. We'll see. Got 2 of those. All right. Next up, I forgot about this. Justice League #50. This is the first appearance of Jessica Cruz as a Green Lantern, and it's also the first mention of the 3 Jokers. So this book has picked up incredible steam lately. This is the second print, actually, and you can tell because oh great, and they didn't even mark it as the second print on the label. They screwed up on that because I definitely denoted that. But you can tell this is the second print because down here on the first print it says the Dark Seed War, and so this one doesn't say that. It's definitely, and there's also a different like color scheme up here. So this is definitely the second print, and I've seen these have really gone up in price on eBay. They're selling for like over $200 for the second print, which I thought was crazy because I got this for less than cover price from a large online comic retailer. I mean, just before it went crazy, I got it for less than cover price. And I actually got 2 copies. One of them I didn't submit because I thought there's no way it's going to be that hot of a book. So that goes to show you how, how crazy this market is and how unpredictable it is. I thought this was going to be a flop, and it turned out to be an incredible success. And I thought the free comic book day first appearance of Virus was going to be a hit, and it turned out to be a flop. But also just how crazy the market is right now for comic books. I have all copies of this. I also have the first print. I have 2 copies of the second print, and I have the newsstand edition as well, which I just sold online for $630 from the newsstand. So this book is definitely heating up right now. This is going to go up for sale. All of these are going to go up for sale. None of these are staying in the PC. So if any of these are interesting to you, hit me up on Instagram, and I can hook you up with a discount off of current eBay prices. All right, Wonder Woman 759. This is the variant cover. Just says variant cover. This is the Jim Lee variant cover, and this is the first appearance of Liar Liar. Also, just a really cool book, really cool cover. So I'm happy with that one. And here's the cover A, Wonder Woman 759 cover A, first appearance of Liar Liar. On another Wonder Woman 759 first appearance of Liar Liar. All right, Mighty Thor number 12. Now, this is an interesting book. This is the origin of Mjolnir. Is that how you say the name of his hammer, Mjolnir? The origin of Mjolnir. And they actually denoted that up here. So I'm happy about that. I didn't know if they were going to do that or not. I don't know what their process is for denoting things on the label, but it seems like a lot of things just get left off. I don't know how it rises to CGC's level of getting put on the label, but that's cool that it says Origin of Mjolnir on that book. And last but not least, It Eats What Feeds It, number 1, by Scout Comics. This is an awesome series, an awesome read. If you haven't read this one and you're into indie comics, I highly suggest it. But anyway, it's just a really cool series from Scout. And that's it. All right, guys, so the 3 lessons that I learned from this submission is 1, only submit books in batches of 25 if, it's a large submission like this and you're doing a pre-screen. 2, don't get trigger happy on submitting books. Wait until the books have matured, at least to where you know at minimum what you can get with a 9.8. That was my mistake on this one. Was the book was so young, and a lot of these books are so young that they just really had no business being slabbed yet. You should have waited a little bit longer to see how the book would play out in the market. But the 3rd lesson, and the most surprising lesson of all of this, is that I got 24 out of 26 books back 9.8, and all I did was pre-screen them. I didn't press and clean. I didn't even take them out of the bags and look at them. And so that is proof right there that not every book needs to be pressed and cleaned, even modern books for a submission. I've heard a lot of people say that you need to press and clean everything no matter what. If I had pressed and cleaned all of these at CCS, it's $8 for a quick press. 8 times 26 is $208. So I could have had all of these pressed and cleaned for an extra $208, and I wouldn't have got any of them. It wouldn't have changed any of the results, because the 2 that came back had non-pressable defects, and the rest of them came back 9.8 already without a press and clean. So it's proof that you don't need to press and clean everything. That's just not true. You do need to have a keen eye, but even that is kind of up for debate now, because I didn't have a keen eye on this. Going forward, and with some other submissions that I've done, I have taken them out, and I am good at now looking and seeing what are pressable defects and what aren't. it's just super surprising to me that I got the results that I did without doing any pressing and cleaning. And we'll develop this idea more down the road, to see what the best practice is for submitting books to CGC. And that's my goal with these unboxing videos like this with the CGC is I want to try a bunch of different things, and I want to come up with the best statistically what gives you the best results. And so if you're into that kind of thing, please consider hitting subscribe. I really appreciate all of you for stopping by and hanging with me to this part of the video, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.